Get ready to make a berry bowl. Hi, Marie here. Welcome to Pottery Crafters. You found video number 20 in our Beginner Pottery Wheel Projects series. Today you'll learn how to throw, decorate, and glaze a berry bowl. And yes, you'll see the finished piece. If you like what you see, give the video a thumbs up. If you want to support me or see new videos, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button to get a notification whenever I upload a video. Before we get started, here's a list of tools and supplies I use to make the berry bowl, which will also be down below in the show notes along with any other important information I may talk about throughout the video. The tools and supplies listed are only recommendations and items I use on a daily basis. I'm starting with the clay already centered, so if you're having any problems with centering your clay, you can check out my video up above. With that said, enjoy the video and make sure you stay to the end to see the finished piece. Let's get started. For this project, I have 2 1/4 pounds of Amaco Stoneware 46 buff clay. For beginners, pressing down with both thumbs is the best way to start opening your clay. Then place your anchor hand on the side of the clay and use your fingers to continue opening. Stop to check the thickness with your needle tool. You'll want at least 1 inch of clay on the bottom to make the feet of your berry bowl. Push the base of your bowl outward before pulling up the walls. Then pull the walls straight up to form a cylinder first. When pulling up the walls, you want the top to be a little thicker so you have enough clay to flare out the bowl. To form the bowl, slowly push your clay outward on the inside while supporting with your fingers on the outside. Continue to pull the clay outward until the bowl is 7 inches across. Don't forget to get the extra water out of the bowl with your sponge from time to time. If the water sits too long, it will weaken your clay. making the foot with the Ultimate Edger, I'm removing extra clay because I don't want the foot to be that wide. If you'd like some detailed instructions on how to use the Ultimate Edger, click on the video up above. To make the saucer, I have 12 ounces of Amaco stoneware 46 buff clay. I'm pushing the clay down and outward with the side of my right hand while holding the sponge and slowly squeezing the desired amount of water onto the clay. This way I don't have to take my hand off the clay as often. Once the base is 5 inches across, pull the clay out of the center until you get the desired thickness on the bottom. Stop to check the thickness of your clay with your needle tool. A ½ inch is good because the bottom will be trimmed. To get rid of the little nub in the center, slowly move your sponge and finger back and forth. When doing so, make sure your sponge doesn't have too much water in it. Once the base is set, pull up the sides of the saucer about 1 inch. Make sure you leave enough clay on the top so the rim is not too thin when you bring the sides out and up. Pull the clay outward about 1 inch, then pull up the sides at least 1/2 inch. Smooth out the saucer with the soft red rib and compress the rim. I'm using my ring finger to make a swirl pattern on the saucer, then smoothing out the rim with my sponge. I'm using the Giffen Grip, loop tool, and ribbon tool to trim the saucer and bowl. Hold on to your trim tool with both hands to keep it steady. The Giffen Grip is wobbly. I didn't check to make sure it was secured properly when I started. Here's the problem. The Giffen Grip is resting on one of the bat pins. Lesson learned. If you have bat pins on your wheel, make sure the Giffen Grip is not resting on one of them before you start trimming. Okay, back to trimming. Take only a small amount of clay off at a time. This helps prevent gouging and trimming too much off the bottom. After trimming off a good ½ inch of clay, use the largest clay hole cutter to make the feet. Then use the 1/4 inch clay hole cutter to make the holes in the berry bowl. Once the bowl and saucer are totally dry, it's time to bisque fire in my Scud kiln at cone 04. You really don't want to skip this step because wiping your bowl and saucer with the damp sponge removes any dust particles and helps the glaze bond better to your piece. Apply wax resist to easily get any glaze off the bottom of your saucer and bowl. I'm applying Amaco blue Rutile to the saucer with the small hack brush. Always mix your glaze well and pour it through a strainer. This catches any clumps or debris that may be lurking in your glaze. If you're new to glazing, check out my article on 27 glazing tips for beginners. I left a link for you in the description below. I'm floating a nice coat of blue Rutile on the inside of the saucer with the medium-sized hack brush. Because of all the holes, I'm pouring Amaco blue Rutile on the inside and outside of the bowl. Flipping it upside down, wiping the feet, and getting any extra glaze out of the holes with the medium-sized detail brush. After the first coat is dry, I'm applying the second coat of blue Rutile with the small hack brush. Once the second coat is dry, float on a third coat of blue rutile. After the glaze dries, dip the rim of the saucer in the Spectrum Pearl White glaze. I'm brushing a little more pearl white on the inside with the detail brush because I don't want to dip too far down on the outside of the saucer. Then dipping the berry bowl in Spectrum Pearl White glaze a third of the way down. After the glaze is dry, I'm dipping the bowl one more time in pearl white. Then a little dip on the rim of the saucer and brushing a nice coat on the inside with the large fan brush. I want the blue rutile to show through the swirl, so I'm carefully removing a little glaze with fine sandpaper. Remember to always wear a dust mask when using sandpaper on glaze or clay. After applying a coat of Amaco satin clear glaze to the bottom of the saucer, I'll let it dry and wipe off any glaze on the feet. Then into my scud kiln they both go separately for a final fire at cone 5. Here's the finished berry bowl with saucer. I think it turned out really good. I like the blue rutile and pearl white. It's a nice glaze combination. No cracks, and I was able to save the bottom, which is great. Nice and smooth. All in all, this is a very nice berry bowl. What do you think? Feel free to post any questions, comments, or even ideas for future videos in the comments section below. Some of the best tips and feedback come from you. Also in the comments section are more show notes and pottery making info. I hope you've learned a thing or two to make your own berry bowl. Check out my other videos from Pottery Crafters. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified when a new video comes out. I'll see you in the next video.